It all started with a dream. I wanted to turn London into Pac-Man. Like, I imagine you'd be walking around the streets, grabbing dots, dodging ghosts, but all in real life. But how? Well, I gave myself a week to try and bring this dream into reality. But this is what happened. First, let's start with some context around the titular character, the Pac-Man. If you're unfamiliar with Pac-Man's game, it came out in the past. And it features one of the most recognizable yellow dots of all time, outside of Homer Simpson's bald head. You control Pac-Man, and the objective is to run around all the map collecting as many dots as possible while avoiding all of the ghosts. Some dots, the bigger ones, give you special powers, which give you the ability to eat the ghosts, and the aim of the game is to get the highest score possible. To be honest, I know it's the current year, so I don't know whether I should talk more about Pac-Man, but I know he's not Mario or Steve, but he's still cool, right? I don't know why I said it like that. I'm just gonna assume everyone knows what I mean when I say Pac-Man. So all I need to do was convert this game into a game that you can play with your hands and legs and stuff.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, it's recording. I gotta do that so I can check. I gotta do this. I should put a mirror there so I can see my computer so I know that it's recording instead of having to go every single time. I know you're recording. You're great. Anyway, well, in my mind, the easiest way to turn London into Pac-Man was to basically just put a lot of random dots on a map and then you'd walk over them and collect them. But how would I make sure that the dots landed in places that were accessible by foot? So I thought maybe I could ask Google for that information, and they were like, nah mate, you gotta pay. And I was shocked. Okay, I wasn't that shocked. However, I did see there was a free tier for maybe hobbyists who want to try and use Google Maps. However, it was one of those free tiers where they're like, don't worry mate, we won't charge you as long as you don't f up. And between you and me, I didn't trust myself. Thankfully, OpenStreetMaps exists, which is an open source / free alternative to Google Maps, which means I could get started and did actually get some dots on the map. So I think where we're at right now, I've been able to put yellow dots on the map, which means we're basically done. If I tap on this and move around a bit, it disappears, which is good. I think that's it for today. But unfortunately, I couldn't figure out how to get the road data or the walkable areas data using OpenStreetMap. And because I didn't have too much time, after spending an evening on it, I decided I needed to move on. Because remember, we did have the entire rest of the game to also program. And to be fair, there was probably a very high chance that even if I was using the Google Maps API, I probably wouldn't have figured out in an evening anyway. So yeah, it was time for plan B. B. So, plan B. Instead of turning London into Pac-Man, we would instead turn a teeny tiny bit of London into Pac-Man by simply recreating the classic version of the game, but on a very small portion of the map. But we still had many problems. Time constraints was one, but that's a given. And the second one was one I wasn't expecting. And that is that Pac-Man is a surprisingly complicated game. So before we get started, I do want to quickly explain the setup, as in I want to explain how I was building the game, because it's slightly different than you might expect. In short, I was kind of building the game in a multiplayer kind of way, I was building it so it could work online. Which doesn't make too much sense because, as you may have noticed, I am one person. But as I said in other videos, I do want to try and build things that maybe I can eventually test and play with others, so I just kind of figured maybe I start building towards that from now. And the best way to turn a single player game into a multiplayer game is just to build a multiplayer game for one person. So I built a server, which I don't know why I'm putting there, but I built a server that basically does all the game calculations and stuff, and then sends it down, where's my prop? Oh, right. So I built a server that would do all the game calculations of stuff, and then I sent it down to my phone. And my phone would only be used for sending the location data back up to the server, which it would then use to continue calculating the game. So that definitely added some complexity, and I'm telling you this now because it's important, and yes, there will be a test. So yeah, what was I saying again? Pac-Man is a surprisingly complicated game. So the first thing I aimed to do was get something from the server onto the screen. It started okay. Nice. I don't know what this is. We have dots on a map. That's kind of cool. And if we move the dots disappear. And that's basically Pac-Man. I then had more dots on the screen. we have our little dot in the center here. That's us, our little Pac-Man dot. And this is the size and scale of a Pac-Man game. I didn't realize it'd be so big. So I probably have to just make it a bit smaller so I'm not, you know, running across half the city. I surrounded those dots by walls that also looked like dots. The player, the white dot, could move around a bit. So now what we need to do is, I mean, check this out. It also eats walls too. Super powered Pac-Man, eating the walls, nom 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 nom, cookie, cookie. But more importantly, that one was a bug, don't worry about it. But now that we have this, all I gotta do is, I wanna put some ghosts on the screen. So all that wasn't so bad. Easy peasy. But the problem, what makes Pac-Man interestingly complicated is the ghosts. I just assumed the ghosts just chased down the player, and that was it. But no, because there are so many fun little beautiful idiosyncrasies that exist. Because there are so many fun little things that make that make the ghosts work as they do. So the ghosts all have names. Blinky, the red ghost, Pinky, the pink ghost, Inky, the blue ghost, and Clyde, the orange ghost. But it's not just names. Each of them have different behaviors too. Blinky will chase you down and moves faster than the other ghosts. Pinky kind of predicts where you're going and targets there. Inky uses both Pac-Man and Blinky to try and determine where it should go. And Clyde, well, he's just chilling, don't worry about him, he's good. And during the game, the ghosts would alternate between like chasing Pac-Man and then scattering. And in each of these modes, the ghosts have different behaviors. Now, most of this information I got from different blog posts and sources online, but the main one was this GameInternals article that I will show here. And this entire thing was kind of fascinating to me, but that meant that I focused a bit too hard on it and tried really hard to try and replicate all of it. But it was kind of difficult. But I tried. Now when I move around, there's this pink dot that follows me, and that is the ghost. I guess the next steps is just kind of making sure that the pink dot is following inside of the blue walls. But yeah, pretty good progress so far. I think it might take like a couple of days, maybe 1, 2, 3 days before I can actually get this properly working and I can go outside and actually muck around with it. Whoa! Whoa, okay. They sometimes vanish into thin air. No, it's just sometimes they just like don't show up. What causes that to happen? But they do seem to be walking this way. Okay. Sorry. Okay, that was kind of scary. Come on. See? It moved. It navigated from here to here, avoiding the wall. Hooray! Cool. So, we actually have some good updates here. It's actually pathing its way over here. We have 4 ghosts. They're all like... Oh, they're all merged together, so that's not great. But they are figuring it out eventually. Come on. Is it actually gonna happen? Am I gonna get... I'm being surrounded! Yes! Oh, that's awesome. Wow, I sound tired. That's because I am. Cool, so now we have the different colored ghosts hanging out. I'm gonna die. I died. Damn it. That lasted all of those seconds. I really should zoom in a bit more, but as we can see sort of here, ghosts moving around, that's normal, but if I teleport over here and grab the dots, they are now scared and scattered. I eat one, they return to the house, they come back wanting vengeance and blood. It's really awesome. I gave it my best shot, but I really shouldn't have been doing that. I definitely needed a bit more time on it, and the code was getting slightly chaotic. But a thought did occur to me that maybe I was forgetting something important. Pac-Man. We hadn't done a live test of location-based movement. I was just assuming it was gonna be working. And what's worse, I got a call from my mum and she said that a storm was coming. Poseidon? Are you kidding me? Water is bad for cameras, which meant that I had I had to go. So I quickly finished what I needed to do a day before the storm and left early in the morning in order to try and reach the park. And honestly, I'm glad that I did, because I did not expect what was going to happen next. There's a gigantic fun fair, which kind of like cuts off half the park. I completely forgot that it was there, even though it happens every year. So I'm gonna try and find some place over here where we can actually do the test. All right, so yeah, we're gonna see if it works. Here we go. Let's look at this way. I want to see if I can actually pick at least one thing up. Okay, so I picked one thing up. And I am now dead. I need to change the scale a bit, I think. All right, here we go. So we could do, and I'm zoomed way the hell out, but like, I think this is more doable, because now we're within like this path and then this other path down here, which means that that's literally over there and over there. So I think I can move around in this space, and that should be enough to actually maybe play the game. I might like divide the speed by an 1/8, so that way it's like I can at least test walking with it to see how it plays. Do I move? Do I move? Do I move? I don't. Oh, okay. I teleported. Oh man, this is way too. It takes too long. Oh, that's frustrating. So I walk down here. What happens is I end up over here, and then if I walk over here, I end up. Well, I mean, we're heading in a direction. And now if I head this way just a tiny bit. Okay, well, we're now completely off the map. All right. Well. Darn, there's gotta be a way to improve your location. That also means that all of my future plans are completely ruined. Fish. It didn't work. It didn't flippin' work. I was shocked. Shocked, but actually shocked. Like, all this work, all these little things I was trying to do meant nothing because you couldn't properly control the character. It was sucked, since if you can't control the character, then you can't play the game. It doesn't matter how much other work you did. If the controls are bad, then you're screwed. It was over. Unless... I want to talk out loud for a second, because why not? But essentially, I'm streaming my position in, so... Oh... Wait, hang on, back to the tree. I think I might have a way to fix this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Okay, I think we got the fix in. All right, we try again. Okay. Wait, I think it's actually updating. Okay, sweet, kind of. It is actually updating. If I go up, it's going up, but it is actually going up. And it is actually updating, so I can turn it a bit, and I'm starting to pick up dots. Oh shoot, I gotta check my bag. My bag's back in there. Okay, so right now I'm gonna go this direction, and we'll slowly but surely, if I speed up a bit. Oh my god, we're actually picking up the dots. Oh, this is actually pretty cool. Oh shoot, I've moved the map. Sweet, I actually fixed it in the middle of a park. It's pretty crazy. And oh my god, this is difficult to control. But I understand why it's difficult, and I think I understand how to improve it too. But it's freezing cold, and I don't think I can improve it in the park. That's right, did a hot fix in the middle of a park. Ooh, 10x engineer, baby. Anyway. So to briefly explain, what the issue was, is, do you remember how I said before that it was a multiplayer game? In games like that, in order to speed up communication, you usually try and create a persistent communication between both the phone and the server. This is known as a WebSocket, like a super fast hotline where both my phone and server could talk to each other without needing to reconnect every single time. However, I built a one-sided conversation. The server was talking to my phone and sending it all the information about the game, but my phone was hardly talking to the server. That's why I was teleporting all over the place. Plus, my phone was using the long way because that's how I set it up when I was testing out for the first time. I only did the WebSocket slightly later into the project. So how I fixed this, every single time the phone heard from the server, it sent an update location back up to the server, but unfortunately it had to take the long way because setting up the short way in the middle of the park was slightly beyond my skill set, especially when it was freezing cold. Yeah, we're going home. We're gonna go home, but I am gonna do one quick recording while playing the game, just so I can see what that looks like, and also have the screen recording on too. But yeah, I need to pop home and fix the stuff, and then maybe we'll do another test, or maybe that'll be for next week. This is why you always write down and pop down every single thought that hit your head, because I remember thinking about this like 3 or 4 days ago. I remember thinking about it, and I remember thinking, wait, this is a very slow update. How do I update it faster? But I just completely forgot. So yeah, my bad. Anyway. So all in all, a pretty successful test in the sense that it was tested. Unfortunately, we still don't know how the game plays if both sides were using the super fast hotline, but we have an idea, and that idea is badly. Alright. And this time, I have the update. Let's see what we do. This direction. Whoa. The main issue is that because of the lag between the location updates, it's tricky to navigate within the confines of the Pac-Man maze, especially at that small of a scale. We go again. That's gonna be a fun bug to try and figure out. Then you walk this direction. Oh, okay. We've teleported, that's fine. Then we walk this direction, turn, kind of. I gotta try and stay in the walls, but it's quite difficult. If this was an offline single player game, so everything was running from the phone, there would be less lag, so things would in theory be more accurate. But even then, I believe that the gameplay would still be pretty weak. Because there are no physical walls, at the scale at which the game is playable, it is currently very easy to accidentally go out of bounds. And the controls don't feel as fine-tuned as like an actual game of Pac-Man. Just need to pick up the thing before the blue thing eats me. Yes, okay, let me just walk back a bit, and then turn, and then, and it's over. Oh, hello dog. Well, I mean, it kind of works. So, I mean, this isn't a fun place to end the video, so I did come up with some improvements that I think could at least make it feasible if I were to continue and try and do this again. Honestly, as a game, when it briefly worked, I think that it was kind of fun, and I don't think I want to completely abandon the idea just yet because I don't think it's had the chance to have a proper showing. Plus, I think it could potentially be a pretty crazy multiplayer experience, if not an incredibly dangerous one. Just give me the ghost. Give me the ghost. Give me the ghost. Come on. Almost walked into a tree. But now that I've seen the errors and I've seen what could be possible, I have a few ideas on how to improve it. For example, although the walls might not be physical in real life, they could be physical in the game. So if you end up running like past where a wall is, the entire map could instead move with you, so that way you don't have to constantly try and like recalibrate yourself to where you are on the screen. Instead, what's on the screen just moves with you. This would mean that precision would matter a lot less. If you want to go right, you just want to right in a direction, any kind of direction right, and your character will go right. And then when you want to turn up, you just go up in any particular direction, and it's totally cool, and you don't have to worry about going out of bounds. And yeah, that's my only real idea. If you have any ideas, do let me know, because I'm not very good at coming up with ideas. But obviously, as we said at the beginning, we still haven't achieved the dream of turning London into Pac-Man. So I just don't think I want to give up on this just yet. We might not continue with it straight away. There are other things I might want to do, but I do think I want to come back to this and maybe even slap on a bit of actual multiplayer onto it as well. However, for now, we do have to chalk this up to a slight failure. For now at least. Anyway, that's it. That's the end. I think what's next is that maybe I'll either continue working on this project, but I'm also interested in taking a look at other location-based games, so that way I can have an idea of what they do and maybe incorporate that into my own future projects. Until next time, please have a lovely rest of the day. I've been me, you've been you, and I'll see you later. And my phone, wait, I'm wearing these. I don't think I was wearing these before, was I? I just popped them on when I went over there to fix. Oh, the inconsistency. So I just assumed the ghost just kind of followed you until you die. I guess that's how life usually shakes out.